guys, how's it going?
Pretty good, you?
Good?
Pretty good.
Going well.
So we are changing our name for the night to the Pre-Presentation Party P3 Podcast.
I like the acronym.
You gotta send us those pics.
I will.
All right.
So, welcome to the annual West Michigan Mountain Biking Alliance State of the Union.
All right.
Here at City Built.
Thanks for setting this up. This is awesome.
So, we are joined by two board members right now, Brian Davis and Ian Verhey. How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Coming off of a snowpocalypse in Norton Shores. We had about 2.5 feet of snow. And this is the furthest I've traveled in 6 days. So felt good. Made it alive.
It was crazy on my drive in. It was sunny a part of it, and blizzard, can't see in front of you for another part of it.
I did see sun for the first time in 8 days. Ian, how are you doing?
For a second. I'm doing well. We didn't get quite as much in Jenison, but it's nice to see the snow, honestly. It's nice that it sticks around so we can do a little fat biking and enjoy the trails.
So, in this cold snowpocalypse crap, how have you guys been staying busy for biking? I know, Davis, I see you ride like 3 minutes on Zwift and then get off. I know Ian has been on Mark's podcast talking about indoor training and such.
I get my 15 minutes of Zwifting in a week, and it feels good. I feel good. Ian, what about you?
Yeah, I'm a little more addicted to the Zwifting. It's it's the easiest way to get some riding in, get some training in. My teammates unfortunately call me the great indoorsman because I spend so much time on it. But
how much time are we talking?
you might. You have like Kellen
90,
and I built.
It's like 95% of what of my ride time
of your day
through the year.
What's mileage look like for a week for you?
Oh, probably 100 to 120 on Zwift. It's not that bad.
That's what we
do.
do.
Like I'm training
we're
for
downhill
like
guys.
Yeah.
We're downhill guys, and we have more than you.
Oh yeah.
You should join our banded Zwift rides on Thursday.
I definitely need to.
Thursday,
for sure.
7 o'clock. Banded Swift ride.
There you go. I've been hiking more. I gotta get outside. I can't do the Zwift. I need to. I know. Snowboarding a lot though. That kind of gets me going. But that also does not do anything for the bike fitness.
I saw you went riding with Adam Raphael and Joel Boersma the other day on your snowboard.
I did. It was super cool. Did backcountry riding out at Hoffmaster.
Yeah, that's Joel's place. He loves talking about that place.
He does love talking about that place, and I finally went with him. And it was super cool. I'm glad I did it. It was the hardest I've worked for 2 runs in my entire life.
We can make fun of him because he's not here yet because he's always late. But
Maybe he'll hear this later.
He likes talking. Yeah. He'll hear this later.
He'll listen later. Before I forget, Brian, happy belated birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
So
44.
Nice.
Well, getting up there.
You don't look a day past 43, so.
Oh.
Yeah, we went to Joyride 150 for his birthday, and we took over some little kid's birthday party for him. They took all their cupcakes and.
Yeah, some mom walked up with a bag of chips. She's like, "Hey, you guys interested in these chips?" And we're like, "Yeah, whatever you got, bring it. It's his birthday too." Next thing you know, we had a tower of cupcakes and
like a full 3-story tower full of cupcakes and 2 big bags of chips,
candies.
Brian Gritma in the house.
But
in here.
So how long have you guys each been on the board? Brian, you've been on. Are you the longest tenured currently on the board?
I think Dan and I and Carly are the longest tenured, which would be Dan or anybody else's hat. But I think I want to say 2 years now.
2 years?
So not long. Very fresh board.
I thought you'd been on longer than 2 years.
I want to say 2 years.
Yeah, and speaking of fresh board, I'm 3 months in. So,
3 months.
That's very
not
fresh.
real long.
Wow. I remember my first time.
Yeah, this is it right here.
Brian, how long were you on the board?
I did 1 3-year stint on the actual board.
A 3-year stint?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what they're supposed to be. You're supposed to get reelected every 3 years.
No, I didn't realize there
So
was
I'm
a...
getting kicked off in a year.
Or you run for re-election, which is you just say you want to do it again. I dropped off during COVID.
Okay.
But before I was on as a board member, I was in charge of the advanced features for West Michigan for 3 or 4 years before then.
Do all your listeners know that you used to be a board member?
I mean, I try not to tell anyone. No.
I feel like it's been on a few of the episodes.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it a little bit here and there.
But we've accidentally mentioned it.
Accidentally. Dan, how long have you been on the board for?
2 years.
Right?
2 years.
Okay. 2 years.
Okay. So fresh faces, get new stuff done. What are you most proud of that you've got done since you've been on the board? Ian, your answer doesn't count.
Well,
His is I just went to a meeting.
in your short time, what is it though? What is yours?
There's some things that I've started working on with. I work in nonprofit finance, so I have a bit of a background to kind of help keep things in line in that regard. So just kind of working on closing out the year financially, setting things up so that we're keeping everything straight going forward, and kind of taking over some work that we had paid for in the past. So now we don't have to pay for it. Now we're just doing it ourselves.
Nice.
Saving some bucks.
Nice.
Might have to talk to you later about some nonprofit stuff.
Here we go.
I'm on the board for our sponsor, the Building Blocks Foundation.
Squeeze that in right
Sitting
there.
over there.
She's not paying attention. She's on her phone.
Courtney.
She's ticky-tocking.
But oh, now we gotta look.
Not Courtney.
Yeah, but the financing stuff. We'll
That was-
talk. We'll talk later.
Yeah, that was the same thing I got from Dan, and here I am.
Perfect. That's exactly how that's supposed to work. All right. So, have you always been in West Michigan riding?
Yeah, I have.
And Brian, you moved here after a stint in Mount Pleasant, and
Yes.
originally you are not from this side of the state.
No. Originally grew up in Owasso. If anyone knows where Owasso is, kind of by Lansing. I didn't answer your last question.
Oh,
Proud about things that I've done. I don't know that I have done anything in particular, but I do think that the thing that I am most proud of as the board as a whole is trying to make the bike community more cohesive as like one, as to kind of see like, hey, the board has interest in everybody's riding style, not just a particular riding set, which seemed to have been the case perhaps prior, that kind of just wasn't great vibes for everybody. And I really think that we're going in a good direction, and seeing how many people that are out here tonight is incredible to see.
I would consider your role on the board as an outsider to be master of Stoke.
I like that. I'll take that. I'll take that. I'm not a particularly stokey rider, but I like to build the Stoke. I try. Long as I'm not on Brian's dirt jumper, I'm okay.
You've been fine on it before. It was one time.
No, I only rode it once. And I will never ride it again.
All right, so what is your guys' favorite local trail, and what's your favorite trail you've ever ridden?
I would say local trail for me is state game area.
Is there a reason why it's your favorite?
That was really my introduction to mountain biking, and I remember just barely getting through it, barely surviving my first lap there. And now, 15 years later, I go out and can really rip around there, and I like going fast. I like the wide open sections there.
I'm sure you only ride the 8 Mile loop too, right?
Yes. Yes. That's all.
How about you, Brian?
My favorite local is Ski Hill. That's where I started biking at. Right now, it might be my least favorite because I'm so vastly out of bike shape, but I have a lot of memories of learning how to mountain bike there. Brian, I met you there. You gave me like a little mini skills clinic that I remember. You wouldn't let me leave until I could do the pump track, if I remember right.
Yeah.
Without clips. But I have a ton of memories of being at, not as many as you guys do, but being at the skills park. Just tons of hours just spent there chatting and just kind of hanging out. Really hope something happens with that, but yeah, that's my favorite local.
How about your favorite trail you've ever ridden?
Favorite trail I've ever ridden has to be, I want to say, Doug's Back 9
In Marquette? So you stay in the state still?
In the state, yes. I haven't really ventured. Well, so I've only really ridden out of state once. Rode in Issaquah on a super dope, massive e-bike shortly after I broke my leg, though. So I couldn't push it too hard. But I also don't remember any trail name.
Was that the one time you rode his dirt jumper when you broke your leg?
That was the time, yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
You were Aiden Hutchinson before Aiden Hutchinson.
his break was weak. This is a real break.
Were you at a Duthie Hill in Issaquah? Because that's where I've ridden.
Yes, Duthie Bike Park.
Yeah.
Was incredible, and the scene there was like wild. It was like a Monday night, so a school night for kids, and the place was just packed, full of riders from all abilities. But it was dope, and then it felt like I was with my brother Miles, and we were riding, and it felt like we were in like a Trek commercial the entire time. Just looking to your side, you're just like, holy shit, this scenery is beautiful, and I want to go back really bad.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really get out much. I don't.
I ride state games.
Yeah.
One only rides Luton, so it's fine.
What Zwift route is your favorite?
Yeah.
Watopia is pretty nice this time of year.
That's probably more accurate.
McCurry Islands when I want to get adventurous.
Yeah, I like the scenery there. Honestly, the Dragon. I did a full lap of that for the first time in October after that opened, and just awesome scenery there. I like the flow. I like the speed, especially through like the southern sections of it. That was a lot of fun and kind of a good challenge to hit the full 45.
Yeah.
Well, I think our time's about up here. We're right on the 15-minute mark, so.
Next.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys sitting down for a quick minute.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
for having us, you guys, and thank you so much for putting us on.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah,
That
thanks for
was
doing this.
an adventure. There's a lot of people here.
Yeah, it's a packed house.
I'm
Yeah.
glad that our interview, Ian, was first.
Yes, yes, time for a beer.
Yeah, also time for
If you
beer.
could report back when you get out there about the volume situation, that'd be sweet.
Will do.
Just come on over to my side over here.
We'll
Yeah.
do.
But yeah, thanks a
the
lot
signal.
for you guys for coming out and
Thank you guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
being on the board and doing what you guys do for the local community. It's important to have. Every time we travel anywhere, we hear about how strong the West Michigan mountain biking community is, and we're proud to be part of it, and we're glad that you guys are picking up our slack and putting in more effort than us.
Well, hell yeah. Thank you for putting this out to your audience.
Yeah,
Rock
thanks,
on.
guys.
If you're not a WMMBA member yet, please join.
All right. Hey guys. Oh, now you can probably hear yourself, Pat.
A little bit.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, I forgot to turn that mic back on. I'm trying to silence some of the sound a little bit in here.
It's a little loud.
Yeah, there's a weird ground hum too. That's a little bit dicey. So, Pat, you did not know you were going to be up here?
I had no idea.
Nope, because we cannot find Carly, so that's who was supposed to be up here with us.
Someone hinted that I was going to be called up like 30 seconds before this.
Was it Brian Davis?
Maybe.
That totally works.
All right, so we are joined by James Hayes and not Carly, Pat Ellis. Once again, this is the P3 pre-presentation party. Because, you know, we got to get that in there. So, Pat, I know the answer to this because we asked you, but I am very curious to hear James's answer, and then you can tell people that can't hear you out there. When and how did you first get into biking or mountain biking?
So I started biking back when I was 7 years ago when I was 40. It was essentially on a fat bike was kind of what drew me into it all. I started doing it on a fat bike and then got into racing a little bit, a lot of gravel. I kind of go back and forth between gravel and mountain biking. I love being in the woods, I love being at Yankee, so I spent a lot of time at Yankee on my mountain bike. Started doing a lot longer stuff last year, so that's...
I see a lot of pictures of you on your fat bike. Is that your primary ride?
Yes, it used to be. My gravel bike, I've actually put some skinnier tires on, so people are seeing me this last year like, I thought you rode a fat bike. So I get that a lot. But
So really fat or really skinny?
well, no, the skinniest tire I run is a 2.1 mountain bike tire. So if it's still,
Yeah.
it's not.
That was fat in like 1999.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a fat bike.
For sure. And now, I mean, my fat bike is 4.5, so that's for sure a lot more of rubber to spin around and keep moving. So, but that's kind of. I mean, I got into it. It was for fitness. I'm still a bigger person, but not as big as I used to be. If people could see me 7 years ago where I was, they would be surprised. For sure. But, no, I enjoy being in the woods and on my bike and talking to people in the parking lot. I see you guys in the parking lot every now and then on your grill rides at the game area.
Yeah, we rotate every week to all the different ones.
For sure. But no, I mean, the community is awesome and it's kind of drew me in. So that's kind of how it started. And just kind of just gradually got sucked into this community. So.
Oh, nice.
For sure.
And Pat, James started with the biggest wheels possible and the biggest tires. You started with itty bitty wheels.
Yeah, I started out on a BMX bike, to be precise, about 23 years of it before I got into mountain biking. Well, let's clarify. I've been riding BMX for 23 years. I got into mountain biking around 2017 after moving across the street from Richmond Park and not knowing there was a trail there.
Yeah, I didn't know that's where you moved to, and that's where you kind of started.
Yeah, I had no idea that trail was there.
Just a lucky coincidence.
Yep, and I had previously worked at a bike shop before moving to Grand Rapids, so reached out to my old boss and got a Norco hardtail, and it's off from there.
Nice.
You still have that bike?
I don't.
Oh.
No, I sold it a long time ago.
Got to keep those first.
I know, I should have.
And you're not on the board currently, but you're very involved locally in the community. What would you guys say your passion projects are in the local community?
My passion is to really kind of see the community rides happen a little bit.
Like setting up group rides or getting back into that?
And not necessarily official group rides, but just those. I feel like the best ones are the ones that you kind of just throw together last minute, and people find out about it on social media, or you throw a text, like a text blast out, and trying to make sure that happens more, and figure out how we can get more people to those, because that's really, I mean, the community is really where you'll grow that passion in that person. That, I mean, even though they feel like I don't look like the rest of them, but I want them to show up and do those, because if you're in a line of people, it's hard to explain. I record it. Sometimes I'll run a GoPro, and when you see that line, like especially in the winter, you'll see the line of everybody kind of just rolling together. It's just a cool feeling, and everybody should have that in the woods.
You're newer to the board too, right? Like
this year I joined the board. So
I think I talked to you right after you got on at a ride somewhere.
I think so, yeah, probably. I'm newer to the board. I've been around, friends with Dan for quite a long time. We both live in Kentwood, where we don't have any trails yet, but we've been working on that. So, but no, I know Dan, and he kind of brought me in. I ride with him to races, or I'll do rides. We don't ride a ton together, but I'll ride to a race with him because he's a lot faster than me.
Pat, what about you? Is Richmond the obvious answer, or do you got other passion projects that you've been working on?
Currently I'm the trail coordinator for Richmond Park. I would say alongside Justin Simpson. He's carrying more of the weight on his back with that lately. And
wheelbarrow.
Yes.
A lot of weight in a wheelbarrow.
Buckets, wheelbarrow. I'm working with him to improve as much of Richmond Park as we can. There's always something new on the way. And other than that, I'm working with the Progressive Trails Committee with WMMBA.
Which used to be me.
Yes. It used to be, I believe, just you, and now it's several different people.
That's good. That's growth.
Yes.
I'm glad to see the torch get passed on and into capable hands, too.
Or is it just you do the work of multiple people?
Oh, no. No, I have no ginger superpowers at all. No, I just go and ride. But I know one thing that was super sweet to see is, and I kind of felt like a punk after the fact, is I showed up while you guys were building that climbing trail up for Richmond, the repeat trail. So now you can ride up and session the flow trails much, much easier. It's not a brutal walk up. And that alone, I feel like will get a lot more riders to go out to Richmond as an enhancement. I just brought the dog out there. It was like, oh, there's 40 people here. I'm not going to eat any food. Oh, there's food left over. I'm going to eat some food.
We really needed Stan's approval before we could open it up. So.
I helped with some drainage issues. I used Insight. I'm old, my back breaks.
The cool thing to note about that return trail is it's multi-directional, so you can ride it going the other direction, which is downhill. So it's not just a climb trail.
I didn't know it was multi-directional.
They all are if you're riding backwards.
So you're saying keep your heads up as you're pushing up?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you don't have to push it up now. You can just pedal. It's a nice third gear gradual scenic climb. Hopefully past some a little encampment, maybe some wildlife, kids doing drugs.
If you do
wildlife,
if you are climbing that trail, your line of sight is pretty good, so you'll be able to see if anybody's coming down it, and that's kind of the way we designed it, so that you can ride it in both directions and still have a safe experience.
Can you see girls in the pool from this trail?
Well, it was cut in November. So I guess you'll have to wait till June to find out.
I gotta climb extra fast because I know these swimmers are judging me. But James,
yeah.
If you could only ride one trail locally for a year, you just have to pick one, and that's your trail, and it's gotta be a WMMBA trail. What trail would it be? Just 1 year of that. And because you ride fat, I guess that's going to limit your your answers.
So, I know you guys don't know me very well, but it would be Yankee. would be the trail, because that's my favorite trail of all the WMBA trails.
You probably know all the shortcuts, because for us it's like a 45-minute commitment to like do Yankee. We don't know how to bail out, like have fun.
It's more than a 45-minute commitment for me, but I just don't quit. So it's kind of my thing. So even in the winter, I think was it last week, I rode Yankee the full lap, and it was hour and a half. But in the winter, I mean, you can't beat Yankee. I was just telling somebody that tonight.
Does it usually stay not as icy? Like I know Cannesburg gets icy. Does Yankee get? We're not fat bikers, so do enlighten us.
Yankee does get icy in certain sections, especially in the pines. So where those pine needles are, you'll get a lot of it'll thaw quicker. It'll thaw quicker. Sorry, it'll thaw quicker, and then it'll get iced over. My first fat bike crash was actually at Yankee in the pine section, and I went down and messed up my shoulder pretty bad. So I run studs.
I was about to ask, do you ride studs on your tires?
All the time. And so I have lots of wheel sets, and I will switch to my studded set. If you don't have studs in the front and the back, a front studded tire will suffice most of the time.
Before I ask you the same question, what trails are groomed of the WMBA trails?
So right now I think we have Merrill that gets groomed, and he's been doing a great job as of late. I've seen a couple of posts about it. I don't know if we officially have a groomer for Yankee yet. I think that's in the fundraising budget.
Okay.
I know they groom the ski hill.
Dragon. Martin does a great job up at the Dragon. I want to make it up there hopefully this weekend. I know there's a race going on up at Canadian Lakes, what is it, the Angel? I remember. That's terrible that I don't remember. Does Ione get groomed or Hammond at all?
Neither one of those gets groomed. I don't know if those get a lot of attention in the winter.
Okay.
Some people, I mean, it all depends on who's those local people that will ride it in. Because when it gets ridden in, usually it's good. Like lap 1 is terrible, but lap 2 is amazing.
The only time I've ever ridden on snow my entire life was I did one lap at Luton.
Okay.
One time.
I
used to snow downhill race, but that was like skinny tires, big jumps, like high speed stuff. So totally different.
I've never ridden Luton in the winter, because I know they don't groom it.
I think it gets ridden quite a bit, but I just live close to it.
Yeah.
So the trails that don't get groomed, does it snow and you're like, I'm going to wait half a day before I go ride this, wait for other people to ride it first?
You almost have to wait for the temperature to be right, so the snow will pack down.
Yeah.
And then, but you're right though. Like you wait for somebody else to.
You don't want to bite the bullet and be the first one.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you show up and you're like, oh man, nobody else has been here yet. So.
Do you show up, be like, oh man, then just go back home for a couple hours and come back later?
That's a big commitment to get dressed and get ready. So I don't.
All right, Pat. Quick answer on this one, so we can get to the next group. And if you could only ride one trail for the rest of the year, would it be Richmond?
Yes, 100%.
Just Richmond all year.
I could ride Richmond every day.
Perfect.
Would it be Richmond or would it be a skate park?
10 years ago, it would be a skate park. But now it would be Richmond.
Nice.
Well, thank you very much for filling in for us. You have to give Carly some crap at the next meeting.
Oh, I saw her.
She's here?
Yeah.
Oh.
She walked in.
I think so.
Oh.
She conveniently had to go to the bathroom at the right time.
But nice to get to know you better, James.
For sure.
Appreciate you coming up here and talking a little bit and recording.
Yeah, for sure.
Pat, like I said, thanks for filling in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
anytime.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah, I'll have to get out and ride Richmond Park with you guys sometime. I hate to admit, I've never ridden there. I've worked on the trail there, but I've never ridden it. So.
All right. We'll see you in the spring. It thaws out quick.
For sure.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
much like the nonprofit we're associated with for providing services to underserved populations, we are joined by Dawn, Lawless, and Rick Armbruster.
Close.
Bruster. I knew I was going to do it too.
Yeah.
Like I second guessed myself into it.
Okay.
Doing it wrong.
Oh, I saw the name and I instantly went to Armbuster too.
It makes me sound tough, right?
It does. I imagine like Macho Man.
Yeah.
Hey, there's the guy that we made fun of earlier.
Hey, Joel. So, you, Don, you're on the board for WMBA,
That's correct.
and Rick, you are the executive director of Upcycle Bikes.
Yes.
So, Don, why don't you tell us about the association between WMBA and Upcycle?
So simply, I met Rick and his colleague Mike Clark at an event, a bike riding event we hosted for members of our mountain bike association. And Rick and Mike were kind enough to help all the people who attended tune their bikes up, make simple repairs at the time of the ride at Luton, which is one of our venues that we have. And that's how I got introduced to Rick and Mike and also Upcycle Bikes. And when I learned about Upcycle Bikes, which Rick is going to tell you about, I thought, there's room within West Michigan Mountain Biking Alliance for us to be affiliated with an incredibly worthwhile agency or charitable organization that's associated with bikes and helping people who need bikes to live their lives in our community. And so we decided to form a loose partnership and look for ways to support Upcycle Bikes, and that's why we're here today. So really, the rest is up to Rick to tell you the pretty interesting and exciting story about Upcycle Bikes.
When I started researching it, I thought it was really cool. Like, I hadn't heard of it, which is bad on me, but as I started to get into the website and stuff and saw what you guys are accomplishing, it's just great, and I'm sure you can sum it up even better than the website can.
Sure. Yeah, I appreciate you having us. We appreciate the relationship with WMBA here. So you probably haven't heard of Upcycle Bikes because we're only 2.5 years old. We're pretty young, and basically what we do is we collect used bikes and we refurbish them, and then we donate them back into the community to individuals that need transportation support. There are a lot of unused bikes out there. So it's been really easy for us to collect bikes to support our mission. And then we have a team of staff and volunteers that, like any bike shop, we refurbish them. And then what we do is we partner with about 30 different organizations across Kent County area to distribute the bikes. Because we know there's a need, but we don't know where the need is, right? But they all have client relationships. So we get them to organizations that do refugee resettlement or work with individuals with housing instability, people in addiction and mental health programs, women in crisis, you name it. Anybody with what I call severe financial constraints, a bike can be an affordable transportation tool.
Yeah. That's awesome. And we brought you guys some saddles.
Awesome.
Because I heard you're doing a saddle drive, so.
Yeah, so as you can imagine, we're all cyclists here, right? The bikes that we receive that get donated to us are in pretty rough shape. We joke that a lot of them have been lightly used but highly abused, and maybe have been sitting in a barn or garage, maybe outside for quite some time. And so we clean them up and we rip them apart and we replace components, and we do have some wholesale relationships to purchase components at a good price. But the two things that we can't get in bulk are reflectors, front and rear reflectors, and saddles.
Oh.
Saddles are expensive. And
have you talked to the local bike shops about the reflectors?
We have.
Because I help at a local bike shop sometimes, and we just toss reflectors all the time.
We have, and some of them have said, they set boxes aside for us and they'll give us some. But I do think, some of them, how do I put this? Some of them probably follow the rules more closely than others. I mean, I think technically bikes aren't supposed to go out the door without reflectors on them.
You have to sell them with reflectors on them.
Yeah. So that makes it hard. But the saddles, I mean, they're often ripped, right? And we pay attention to the contact points, the saddles, the grips, the pedals, right? And make sure all that stuff is in good working order. Because not only does a bike need to be safe and functional, safe is obviously the priority, but we want the end user to have some sort of dignity associated with it, right? We want them to fall in love with their bike, to realize that that's a resource, to take care of it. And ultimately, we're broadening the cycling community, on some level. So having a saddle that is functional and comfortable and not ripped is really important. So, yeah, collecting saddles is important to us.
Yeah, that's really cool that you're building bikes for the people that need them. Is there a way that you can nominate someone that needs it, or is there a way that you get in contact with someone that might need that?
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. Like I said, primarily how we distribute bikes are through partner organizations, right?
Okay.
Because that just allows us to scale. So, for example, we refurbished and donated 900 bikes last year.
Oh, wow.
Which is a lot of bikes. We could never do that by donating them directly to individuals, right? So we get them through these organizations. We do have sort of formal relationships with them, especially when we get a lot of requests in the spring and summer months. The first priority is to get bikes to them. But like say this time of year, we've got over 150 bikes ready to go.
Oh, wow.
So if we have individuals come through the door, or if you wanted to nominate somebody or something like that, I mean, we're not going to split hairs on that. And we've got a lot of bikes that we need to move.
I saw on your website there was that you could refer someone. There's a referral tab right on the drop down.
Yeah, and that's partly through our partner organizations. But yeah, I mean, so we want to do the best job we can. I mean, obviously, when we get into July and August, we're getting a ton of requests, right? So we have limited supply, but like right now, we've got a lot. I mean, we make a point in the fall to collect a lot of bikes so that we got stuff to work on all winter long.
People can donate whole bikes.
Yeah.
But like people like Kellen and I that have just like boxes of old components, we're never gonna ride again. Can we donate that kind of stuff to like older, outdated to us drivetrains and stuff like that?
Yeah. That's actually the stuff we want because the bikes that we're getting are old. It's funny. We have people come down and they're kind of bashful and they apologize. And I'm sorry, it's kind of an old bike. And we look at it, it's like, this is a Trek from the 90s. This is awesome. Like, this is what we want.
So my old 10-speed stuff is probably...
Yeah, like I will say like the 70s road bikes sometimes are a little bit questionable.
Hey, wait a minute.
On what we can do with them. But yeah, we'll take anything. And honestly, if we can't do something with it, I mean, we'll recycle it. We'll take it apart and recycle it.
So the people that want to donate something, what's the best way for them to donate?
So bring it down to our shop. I mean, we're actually right next door at 800 Monroe on the first floor over here. And we've always got somebody there Monday through Thursday from 10 to 4. Whole bikes are great. Partial bikes are great. Boxes of components and parts are great. Saddles, reflectors, whatever. Some people in their boxes will end up with shoes and socks and things like that. We don't really need those things, but yeah, I mean, we always
use chamois.
Yeah, we can always use donations. We're a non-profit organization, so people ask me all the time, well, what is it that you need? And I'm like, well, we need funding, we need volunteers, and we need bikes or bike parts, kind of in that order. And so, yeah, we're always looking for opportunities to get that stuff and to keep our costs down.
So people can volunteer time to come help you build bikes into?
They can. So I said we're only 2.5 years old. We have built a really cool volunteer community in our shop. So we have, and it probably doesn't sound like a lot to other organizations, but we've got about 20, maybe pushing 25 regular volunteers now that come down like once a week or every other week, plus our 5 part-time mechanics. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, we've got people that are really dedicated to what we do. And the thing that's great about it is, I mean, we're not a full-service bike shop, so we're not looking for expert mechanics in our volunteers. We'll train you what to do, you know, and we have a process where every bike gets checked by 2 people. So if a volunteer works on a bike, it's going to get checked by one of our staff mechanics as well to make sure that it's safe. But yeah, we really do rely on a lot of volunteers.
Nice. All right, one last question for you guys.
Yeah.
What ignited the passion for cycling for each of you? Like, what turned the page from it just being a hobby to a passion enough that you both volunteer massive amounts of your time to 2 wheels?
Go ahead.
My wife always says you can go biking anytime you want to because you're always happy when you come back. And I think that's the story I have from age 5.
That was your getaway as a kid, just to get out.
And back when I grew up, you could just go away and your parents weren't on you. So.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, right? Like, I mean, your bike was your freedom, right? And you didn't have access to a car or a cell phone or email or anything like that. I mean, you were just gone, right? So that was great. For me, I just love being outdoors, and I have a lot of hobbies in the outdoors, and cycling is just one of them. I'm not a hardcore cyclist like probably most people in this room, but I love to get out on my bike. I love the freedom of it, but I'm also kind of a tinkerer, you know, and that's why upcycle really works for me, because I like to just, you know, tinker with things and build things and experiment and build. So nice. It's been fun.
Hey, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
That was very informative. As soon as Dan told me about it, I really kind of piqued my interest, and it's like you kind of walk that fine line of like, I want to research it, but I also want to genuinely learn about it at the same time.
Well, and it's, you know, presumptuous of me, but the thing that really said it for me was that a bike drive for kids is really important. These are adults in our community who need transportation to live their lives. That to me is the real distinguishing factor here that I find it to be a very, very compelling.
Yeah, it's important. We sum it up like we say a bike could be a toy or a tool. And for kids, we think it's a toy. I would argue for most of us in this room, it's a toy. But for the people that we get bikes to, it's a tool. I mean, it's their lifeline. It's how they access the community and access jobs and opportunity. And that's really what we're focused on, is that tool.
Yeah, we gotta let you go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. I really appreciate what you guys are doing for the community.
All right, thanks you so
again,
much
gents.
for having us.
Yep,
See you
thanks.
guys around. Thanks.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here, because we can hear everything in the headphones like really well.
Yeah. It does sound like there's a nice like crowd ambiance in the back. Yeah, it's like a nice peaceful cafe morning.
And you don't have to yell across the room. You can just hear it awesomely in our
Right
headphones.
here. So, for this last set of interviews, we are joined by director Justin Simpson, previous P3 guest.
Yeah, I got.
He had a pretty popular episode.
Hey, how about that?
It's just floating out of the top 10 right now.
That's not popular at all.
I've listened to it twice.
There you go.
Thank you, Dan. You're welcome. I've listened to it 3 times, trying to boost those numbers.
We're going to try to get Dan to speak up because he just did the thing where he hears his voice and gets quiet.
So Pete. All right, I got it. Coaching
That was
voice.
my whole
Let's-
podcast.
And President Dan Frayer, who will be giving a presentation directly after this interview. Way to give yourself a gap.
Thank you.
So, first question on the pre-presentation party podcast, P4. Between building trails and all the other stuff that comes along with WMMBA and all the time it takes, which I know a lot about, how the hell do you guys find time to ride your bikes?
I wake up at 4:30 in the morning every day to play.
I ride Zwift.
Justin
Sometimes.
does join us on our Zwift rides every once in a while.
I'm really bad about getting out in the winter. Like, I do not like being cold. I'm not a fat biker. I don't know if I ever will be. It just doesn't seem to scratch that itch, but So yeah, right now, not a lot of time actually riding bikes, other than on the trainer.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm just talking to the indoor army over here.
Right. No, I see. Brian, you're putting down Zwift miles like crazy, but I'll get there.
And Thursday night's a real popular night for those group rides, and I'm excited to see a lot of people gave that up tonight to come here for beer and tacos and to talk trails.
Yeah, our group ride is not happening right now. It would be starting in 6 minutes.
Thank you.
I actually thought about bringing my Zwift bike and having it.
One of these days, I'm going to do a fundraiser where it's like, how many times can Justin summit outdo Zwift for like $10 towards Richmond or something?
In a day? Or
That doesn't
what's
sound
your
like
time?
a
Whatever, I
at
just
all.
want to build cool trails.
We had a call earlier this week to talk about some trail work at Merrill, and our valued trail coordinator Jackson Payer was on the call and moving and shaking around. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? And then I figured it out. He was riding his trainer, talking trails.
It took me a while to figure out what was going on, and then I saw the sweat dripping, and I was like, it could only be one or two things.
He just had to pee. You never know.
Yeah, we have a Discord while we do our group rides, and we start climbing hills. Our Discord gets a lot quieter.
It gets really quiet, yeah.
I do want to just hop onto that. Do you guys just talk trash the whole time? Or
I wouldn't say we talk trash. We just talk. We talk anything from like what kind of chamois we like to making fun of each other relentlessly.
It's supportive overall. I would say like 60-40 supportive.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say
I felt empowered.
so far the highlight of all the Zwift rides is everyone took a coffee break, but me, and left me like 6 minutes behind, and they just played the game of let's all go faster so Brian can't catch us. And then it was my mission to run them down, which was actually kind of fun.
That sounds like every single road group ride I've ever been on.
Well, these are bandits, so we're like, it's supposed to keep us together. And for whatever reason, it decided not for me.
We found the drop Brian glitch, and we tried to run with it.
So with all of the WMMBA stuff you guys have going on, the meetings you have to take, the land manager meetings, all that stuff, what's your go-to ride to clear your head? When you just need to like get out, put one foot in front of the other and pedal, what's your go-to ride to clear your head? Don't say shoveling. That's not pedaling.
I was going to say slapping dirt. Richmond laps. Like going out there, it's usually, it's a lower traffic trail, but going out there, get some seclusion or maybe run into Pat on a day. Richmond laps up and down that, just filling some airtime, filling some flow. That's the go-to.
I go with a Ken O'Shea underground combo. We call it the golden combo. I park right there at the school and hit them both and get back to the car in about an hour.
The school by Ken O'Shea?
Yeah.
Oh, I never even thought of that. I usually park by Richmond, but I never go to Ken O'Shea. So. We're not Richmond underground. I usually do underground Manhattan combo.
That's
a good one.
That's bike paths the whole way. That's a pretty good.
I don't know the way with bike paths the whole way. I know the way with angry soccer moms the whole way. You'll have to enlighten me on that later this year.
You got to talk to board member James Hayes.
I'm
He's
saying
the route expert.
maybe James can make a group ride.
James is the route guy for sure.
Show us how to get around all the trails that way.
He's the guy to talk to.
Kellen, have you been to Manhattan yet?
It's been a long No, I haven't been to Manhattan, but it's been a long time since I've even ridden underground or Ken O'Shea. I just seem to forget those exist. I've ridden them before, and I love riding them when I do, but I forget they exist.
They're gyms.
Trail coordinator Tyler Kim has done a ton of work at Ken O'Shea, Cormac at the Underground, and Brian Miller at Manhattan Park, the Fred Bunn Multi-Use Trail. I'm still trying so hard to get it to be called Hot Buns. We had originally put in Trail Forks the name Cinnabuns, Hot Cross Buns, and it was all a play on butts. And East Grand Rapids said no thank you, but I'm still trying. So Manhattan Park, aka Hot Buns.
That's the Frederick Bunn Trail, right? That's the
Fred Bunn Multi Hot Buns. He's the guy.
I have not been out since the rework on the new skills section yet. I went out there like kind of in the middle of it when rocks were being moved. My favorite trail out there, because I know a lot of people that live outside of town don't ride it as much, is there's like a long downhill trail.
Major Watson.
It's green, the green trail?
Yep.
Don't be deceived by the color of the trail sign. It is a very fast ripper. It's some young kid in East Grand Rapids has, like, I think I have number 2 on that trail on Strava hole. But some young kid on a Santa Cruz that I'm blanking on his name right now, who might listen to the podcast.
I'm curious if it's Sawyer.
I don't know. Without getting my phone out that I don't have right next to me, I could not look.
No, Manhattan's a good one. Major Watson is a good little like fun, flowy downhill, good section.
Trail builder from Trail Sense, Josh is here tonight. For
Josh is here?
Shout out Trail Sense.
He is.
Sweet, I'll have to have a beer with him later.
There's always...
If anyone wants to bring me a beer, I'm out and thirsty. Well, I guess I'll use that as a segue, talking about how not a lot of people from outside of downtown ride Manhattan, but the WMBA has a ton of trails.
16 total.
A lot of trails.
Over 100 miles.
And, well, Dragon's half of that.
Still over 100 miles.
What is the most underrated / overlooked trail in the network? Or what do you think is your hidden gem that you want to kind of like keep to yourself? Justin, don't say Richmond every time.
No comment.
Have you ridden anywhere else?
No. If you look at my Strava, it's at 100% Richmond miles.
I mean, I rode with you at Merrill once.
No, I was like a mile back. That doesn't count.
I mean, you were there.
My pick is Hammond Hill in Hastings.
Yep.
I haven't been there since the year that it opened.
The elevation change that's out there and the scenery, and it's pro-built low trail, and it has a lot of potential to get more traffic than it gets currently.
Does it get decent traffic from the greater Hastings area? Because for those listening, it is south of town, right in Hastings. A lot of people ride that in the Barrier Bay combined because they are right next to each other, or tie it in with Yankee Springs, which is also very close to there. Do you find that there's a good local following to that trail?
It is more of multi-use and shared use from the local community, and most of the mountain bike engagement there, some from Hastings and local guys that maintain the trail, but for the most part it's people that would travel there to ride it. And I think drawing more attention to that spot just because it's 5-6 miles of just awesome, fun single track. So underrated. Not a lot of people go there.
Is there like a preferred loop there? Because like one of the things that I had when I went there was it kind of is more like what you'll see at like a Glacial Hills or Marquette, where you kind of like choose your own adventure between the trails. And sometimes you're just looking for like a preferred route. I want to know where I want to go.
I like to go and I just hit the outer stuff and I hit it in both directions, but then, and I'm not good with maps, but there's a single spur that is just a forever downhill that I think is one of the coolest things. It just, you gotta turn around and go back up. So XC type short nerds like me, like it's a great, I can fly and then get a workout, and fly and get a workout.
So you're saying it's both like Whistler and Alpe d'Huez Zwift in the same?
I was sold on it until you said I gotta climb back up.
Yeah, you gotta go back up. There's no other way.
Justin, you got an answer for this?
I don't know, man. Outside of Richmond, I know it's underused. All the other trails that I like to use in the area.
Say underground.
I do appreciate the underground. It's another gem. Like I was saying earlier, in the Grand Rapids City proper, we got some gems between that and Ken O'Shea that obviously with Merrill, with the Dragon, with Wallfield, like those are premier trail systems.
Everyone knows about those.
Exactly.
We need to help. We need to help up the.
I feel like our Grand Rapids City proper. I don't know. This may be a controversial take, but the GR Bike Park. I think it's kind of a personal goal this year to get some more activation out there. I want to see more people using it. I want to see more people taking advantage of a facility like that. I know it's maybe, like I said, a controversial pick, but yeah, I want to get some love out there.
I mean, mine's Ionia. Like, I
You
love
should've said that. Yeah, Dan's stoked on
Ionia.
hearing that, I'm sure.
Gotcha.
That's my hometown trail.
I mean, I used to meet my friend when I illegally rode for the Michigan State Spartans on their cycling team as not my name. I used to meet the team there at Ionia and we do laps because it was in the middle.
I'm gonna call you up because we're gonna need some brush hog love out there in June. Come with me.
Oh, it's too far from my house to do that.
I'll pick you up.
No, it's good.
That or Wallfield. You gotta help us. You gotta help me somewhere.
I did say I would help at Wallfield this year.
Yep.
There's enough interest back involved in it that it will stay maintained. Because before it was like, let me go work on this, and then like a month later it's like erosion. And you're like, yeah. But now it's getting so much love.
We're keeping Wallfield tip-top this year.
Tell them we all answered. What's yours?
I would have to say Merrill. Merrill's my favorite local trail.
Is that a hidden gem? Nobody knows about it?
Well, everyone knows about it, but I don't know. I ride Luton the most just because it's closest to my house and I can knock it out within an hour and be back home. But Merrill's my favorite out of all of them locally.
Merrill's a great trail system.
Yeah, ever since they redid Winalda, add the jumps and the features and that, it's my favorite.
More coming.
Pretty good.
All right, so it's about time for Dan to start talking. Give your presentation, your PowerPoint. I see it up there. I see your logo.
I'm ready.
It's looking nice. So, I would like to thank you guys for allowing us to come in and do this. It's been a good time. A little stressful in the beginning, but we got it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate having you here and join us for our first live event.
We'll have you come on and have your own time. And I'll just trick you and not have you wear headphones so you don't know that you're talking loud.
Can we talk about CrossFit and pickleball the whole time?
I like CrossFit. I am a CrossFitter.
I know. And
Not lately. So I get spare tire. But once again, we're the Paddle Progressions Podcast. Check us out. Anything. Donate and join the WMMBA. If you have a saddle or extra bike part, please donate them to Upcycle Bikes. Upcyclebikes.org. You can check out the website. It's pretty dope. Our sponsor, Building Blocks Foundation. Donate, help speech. It's a need in the community. Yeah, great summer camp programs. That's buildingblocksfoundationinc.org. And Kellen, why don't you sign us out?
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening. Like always, remember to keep progressing, keep pushing yourself, and have fun. Thanks everyone.